Hey guys, Mustang here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so the tech hit EZA is coming to global at the time of this guide coming out. I think the EZA drops in like 11 hours, so if you're watching this literally as it goes up, it'll be 11 hours from now that the EZA is going to come out. I should be live to stream the EZA, so keep an eye out on the channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell button if you want to be notified when I'm going live. But yes, I should be live once the EZA officially comes out, and we'll go through that, maybe do the new Infinite Dragon Ball History live on stream as well. So if you want to see that before it gets released as a video later on, make sure you keep an eye out on the channel and come by for the stream. So yeah, Tech Hits EZA is a standard 30-stage EZA event, which means you can't stun from stage 5 onwards, you can't lower attack from stage 15 onwards, and you can't seal from stage 20 onwards. Once you get to stage 20, you have an 80% damage reduction from AGL, Tech, and Extreme type units. So that means you only want to be using Super, STR, Physical, and Int. And the bonus category is All Out Struggle. So as a standard 30-stage EZA, you beat the 30 stages, you get all the medals. If you want to go any further than that, you just get the Hercule statues. As long as you beat all the stages, you get all the medals, you get a bunch of tech orbs, you get 11 tech kais, 30 stones from beating the stages, and then obviously if you do all the missions, you get an extra 4 as well. You only have to have one character from the actual all-out struggle category in order to beat that one. So even if you can't make a full all-out struggle team, you should still be able to beat all of the events. So we're going to jump in. We're going to have a look at the all-out struggle category. We're going to talk about potential sub-leads and units that will be good on the team, because obviously the category technically only has one leader. But as with all my team building guides, I will be going over the top picks and honourable mentions, in my opinion. If you do find the list helpful at all, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. If there's any units you think I missed out or should have talked about more, let me know down below in the comments, and we can continue the discussion down there. So straight away we jump into the official leader of the team, which is the Blue Boys, the Kaioken Goku and Blue Evolution Vegeta. This unit is really good, and I feel like they get super underrated. I really learned to love how great they are when I did the Realm of Gods Extreme Super Battle Road no items run, because they greatly raise their defense on Super, and if you pick up a few Rainbow Orbs, they get those guaranteed additional normal attacks, and obviously the more of those they do, the more likely you are to actually trigger the additional Super from their hidden potential, which even if you only have them at 55%, they're a physical unit, so they'll have level 5 additional. If they get that second Super, it means they greatly raise their defense again. So they are actually pretty decent in terms of defense after supering. So they are not a slot 1 unit, but they definitely can perform very well defensively. Obviously, they don't have their own orb changing, so that can be one of the downsides for them if you just get unlucky and can't pick up any rainbow orbs. But they are a very solid unit, and of course they are technically the leader for the team, 3 key and 150 across the board. So there are other ways that you can build these teams. If we have a look, first of all, we have our boy, the SSBE Vegeta. He leads Powerful Comeback and Representatives of Universe 7. So 3 key, HP, attack and defense 170. So obviously a much better leader skill. So if you can make a full team out of his leader skill, that is all out struggle, then you actually have the slightly bigger buff. And of course he has type advantage. He has built-in chance to crit on his super attack, which has a stacking effect. So if he gets an additional super, it's a 100% chance to crit. He also has an active skill, which you can use from the 4th turn, which EZAs, especially once you get to the later stages, not necessarily that difficult to get to that point. The only problem is you do have to be above 50% HP, and obviously with an EZA you can't use items, so if you take a super early on the wrong unit, you might not die, but you might not be able to meet this condition. But this is just going to be a little bit of bonus damage, if anything. So Vegeta is going to be very, very good. His defense is good. He builds up damage reduction within the same turn with each hit that he takes. So he just gets better defensively as he takes hits. So he's going to be very strong in this event. And when we look at Powerful Comeback, there are quite a few units on here that are on All Out Struggle. So it's very possible to make a team that is largely All Out Struggle. and then you might have to make a couple of substitutions, but it means you could use units like this Namek Goku or the Namek Vegeta and Goku. Whilst they're not on all-out struggle, they are very powerful LRs that have type advantage. So, you know, if you can't build a full all-out struggle team, these are the kind of units that you want to be bringing. Just very powerful units that have type advantage. Obviously, actually, this guy is going to be getting the damage reduction of the 80% because he's extreme, so maybe not him. Although he would still be good defensively after supering, so as a last resort, you could use him. But this Namek Goku would definitely be good for filling in the gaps. And then, of course, in terms of representatives of Universe 7, first of all, we'll talk about the LR, Goku, and Frieza. Now, obviously, they are a tech unit, so they're one of the units that gets that damage reduction. But if you want to run a full Representatives of Universe 7 team, which is very possible, they do have the best leader skill in the game still. No other unit in the game yet has 177% for any one of the stats as their lead, let alone all three. So if you can make a full Representatives of Universe 7 team, these guys are technically the best leader, even though they're not going to be doing a lot of damage. But post EZA, they raise defense on both of their super attacks. Their stats are very strong. They've got very good defense in general. So whilst they won't be dealing a lot of damage, they can still be useful in this EZA. You would probably use them as like a floating third slot unit because they can't do a lot of damage, but they do have the best leader skill. And of course, remember, Vegeta has Reps of Universe 7 as well. So when we look at Reps of Universe 7, not only are a lot of these units on all-out struggle, and units that we're going to talk about momentarily, but just like Powerful Comeback, you've got units like the Team Universe 7, you've got units like the... actually, yeah, that was the one I saw at the top. Team Universe 7 that are int, so they have type advantage, and there are super types. They're going to be dealing decent damage. You know, EZA, UI Goku. They're not in all-out struggle, so they're not going to be doing the full damage bonus, but they're still going to be very useful on the team if you need to fill in that final slot because you can't run a full all-out struggle team. So next up we have Future Gohan. So in Future Gohan, a little bit outdated now, but still a pretty solid unit. He's on all-out struggle, and he leads Bond of Master and Disciple and Hybrid Saiyans. So he's got damage reduction, he's pretty strong. He can only transform if you have a Trunks on the team that isn't Kid or GT, which there are not many, if any, on all-out struggle. So you might not ever get to see him transform. But realistically, he's here to be a substitute leader. Or if you are running the full all-out struggle team with the Blue Boys lead and you just need one final unit on the team, it's always best to bring a unit that has type advantage, if anything else. So he could be a substitute for the final unit on the team, or as a leader, because if we look at Bond of Master and Disciple, there's a few units on here that are in all-out struggle, and then we also have units like the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, who is very powerful now after his EZA. A little bit underwhelming compared to what people wanted him to be, obviously, but still very, very strong for this EZA. And then if we look down at the TURs, we have units like Vados, who has built-in chance to dodge, this Gohan, who's a Super Types 50% support unit. So there's a few units here that are not all-out struggle units, but are still going to be very good on the team if you can't run a full all-out struggle team. And then, of course, his other leader skill is Hybrid Saiyans, which, again, has a lot of very strong int units and units that are on all-out struggle as well. So you have here, like, for example, Xenopan, just come out with the Heroes thing. Same with the Gohanks Awakening. The transforming Gotenks. Like, there's a lot of very strong int units on here that, like I said before, whilst they're not in all-out struggle, would make very good substitutions to the team if you can't run a full all-out struggle team. And next up, shout out to my boy Minato and Luca Dokkan as well. We have our boy Super Saiyan Kabe, that everybody hates, from the new banner, but he's on Bond of Master and Disciple. We saw him when we were scrolling down that list when I was talking about Gohan. He is a Bond of Master and Disciple lead for 3 key and 130. If you're a newer player and you summoned on the Kale and Caulifla banner, especially because the third step was guaranteed featured, it's very possible that you pulled this guy, but you don't have a lot of the other units that we've talked about so far, so you could run him as a Bond of Master and Disciple category lead for 130%. And then obviously make a team based around this category. There's a bunch of all-out struggle characters in here, and then again we have those decent int units that can fill out the rest of the team if you need to do that. So obviously he's not going to be at his best because it's not the kind of team he's designed to be on, but there's a few Universe Survival Saga units on that team, so he is going to be providing support to them. And of course the int SSBE Vegeta is there, so he's going to be able to get his unit super. You need to have him on rotation if you want to get the extra bit of an attack buff, and they don't share a ton of links, but that can be a rotation that can work well as well if you don't have as many other options. So next up we have Roshi. You can't really use him as a leader for the team. I guess you could. There's a lot of Gokus on All Out Struggle, so actually this would probably be another decent standing, because if we look at All Out Struggle over here, let's look through the Goku units. So there's no LRs. In terms of TURs, actually, yeah, to be fair, there's not a lot of top tier ones. So you're probably not going to be using him as a leader, but you definitely want to use him on the team if you're running any of the teams that can have him on board. Obviously, All Out Struggle is the coverall, but like Reps of Universe 7, he's a top pick. He does great damage, he's got good defense, he has the revival skill, which is very useful. Now, obviously, that can only be active if there are 2 or more Turtle School allies on the team, but there are a couple of those that can fit in. But even without having his revival, even if you can't actually bring 2 Turtle School allies, he's still going to be a very strong unit to bring on the team. Next up, we have the Angel Vegeta. So he's not going to be at his full potential because there's no Majin Buu Saga Gokus that you can run on this team. But he's still going to be very solid. If you're bringing him, it's probably just to be as like a substitute or to fill that final slot on the team. I would recommend probably deliberately aiming for his 12 key super, so he raises defense, and then he's just going to be a decent tank on the team that is just filling that final slot and can be strong defensively. If you get his 18 key super, like, his damage isn't terrible, but without the Majin Buu Saga Goku, he's not going to be at his full potential. So next up we have Bardock. So Bardock, this is one of the nice buffs that by getting this EZA a little bit later, his EZA makes him incredibly powerful. So he's going to be really good in this EZA event. He raises defense on both of his super attacks, so he's got decent defense. His damage is pretty good as well. Obviously, you're only facing one enemy, so he gets a bunch of extra ki. So it's easier to get his 18 key super. He's obviously not getting the buffs for fighting like a Frieza enemy or anything like that, but he's still going to be very, very solid, and a lot of the team can be built around Saiyan units, so he is going to have links that work well with the rest of the team. So he is actually going to be a very solid option for the team as well. Next up we have this Goku. I could have talked about him earlier because technically he can be another substitute leader, because you can run full reps of Universe 7 and then you could throw like Kabe on the team even though he's not an all-out struggle unit, because he'll be buffing all of the Universe Survival Saga allies. So he's another option that you could bring either as the leader or as a slot filler on the team. Everybody likes to meme about him, like his defense is not great, especially early on, but he still is a very solid unit. And if you've got enough representatives of Universe 7 allies, once you start to lose a bit of health, you then have the potential to use the Spirit Bomb as a finisher as well. So he can definitely be useful on the team. Next up we have Future Gohan. He is another one that's kind of just an honourable mention as a slot filler. You can't really use him as a leader, but he is on All Out Struggle, so he's literally just going to be that unit that takes the role of, you know, you only need to put one more unit on the team and you don't really have any other top options. You can use him. He's pretty decent. He gets better defensively as the event goes on, which isn't always ideal for EZAs because they're generally quite short, but he's probably just going to be like a third slot float because, like I said, he's a last choice kind of unit. And then the last honorable mention I have is this STR Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I really liked this guy when he first got his EZA, but he definitely falls into that category of early EZAs that have become kind of outdated now. But obviously remember, in EZAs you can't use same name units, so if you are using the int Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, you can't use this guy. But if you don't have him, then he is going to be a reasonable option. He needs to have a Super Saiyan Goku in the same turn to get a bit of an extra attack, which there's not many of in this category, if any. So, again, he won't be at his full potential. His defense isn't exactly crazy, but again, just like the physical Future Gohan, he's kind of like the last choice honorable mention if you've built your like perfect team, but it's only 5 units and you need to put one more in to finish it off. So, going back to all-out struggle, any units that we potentially missed. I mean, this Gohan can be good defensively because he can multiple super and he raises defense on each super, but I've avoided talking about AGL and TEQ units for the most part because they get the damage debuff. We've talked about all the LRs that are relevant in terms of the type advantage. Most of these other units, they're either, like this guy, free-to-play Kaioken Goku. Are you really going to be using him? I mean, if you have to, he's going to be like one of those last choice units, but he doesn't quite make the honourable mentions list. So this one is a bit tricky for some people, I'm sure, because All Out Struggle is a smaller team. But as I've shown in this video, there's a bunch of other options that you can use that have these leader skills that will cover a bunch of other units that you potentially do have. And even if you can only make the team like half All Out Struggle and then just throw a bunch of super int units on there, you should still be able to get through the EZA. So there you go. That is the team building guide for Global for TEQ Hits EZA. Like I said at the beginning, if there's any units you think I missed or that I should have talked more about, let me know down below in the comments and let me know what your team build is going to look like for this EZA. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master again. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.